Hello world, this is going to be a 5.1 video on the previous changes to the combat jobs. I haven't done this in a while, I may as well get this out of the way now. So with that, you guys should be seeing stuff to the left and to the right of me. With that, there should be a go-to timed content, basically a timer right next to the name itself of the current or the job that you're interested in. There's also a timestamps in the description as always. And finally, I'll be answering a few questions that I've gathered from you guys in the bottom corner. And of course, if I don't mention stuff, probably because I haven't gone through it yet on my guides or already explained it. So across all healers, your rescue is now 60 seconds less. It went from 150 to 120 seconds, so 30 seconds less. You can troll people more often, basically. So for White Mage, the Asylum, the radius went from 6 to 8 yalms. I don't really notice it too much. It's pretty non-existent. The Temperance, the effect is now applied immediately after execution, so as soon as you pop your Temperance, it's something what they did to Paladins, so they kind of slightly tweaked it, but I still don't notice it. As soon as you pop this guy, it's still about half a second. I honestly don't notice it too much. It's small little details that overall, quality of life details. So let's get started on Scholar, which I think, in my opinion, is kind of another quality of life change. It's not really a change. It's kind of unnoticeable. Anyway, the Seraph has about 2 seconds when you summon her. Now they added a 22-second timer. She's pretty much the same, non-noticeable. If you do anything before the 20-second mark, she's gonna basically queue everything up. The constellation changes are pretty much non-existent as well. They went up from 20 seconds to 30 seconds. They could have gone up to 45, even 55 seconds. It really doesn't matter. Your summon Seraph is still 120 seconds. Just make sure you use those constellation charges. That's pretty much it. And finally, the Embrace for both the Eos and the Selene, and also the Seraphic Veil. I don't know. They completely removed the fact that you can manually macro out a heal. So unless there is a way to do that, I obviously don't know, nor do I care. These actions will no longer be executed when pet is set steady. You do not want to put your pet on steady. That means that the automatic Embrace that's quote-unquote considered a weaker region will no longer go out, so you do not want to do that. Other than that, it's pretty much the same Scholar. There's really no changes. Please do not put your pet on steady. So first off, in major changes, the minor arcana. As soon as you press your draw, you used to actually have to watch the minor arcana, and then just kind of, if you already knew what it was going to change into, just kind of, swap them around till you actually got something, depending on your party member list. So if you had too many melees, you had to watch out for the crown, the Lord of Crowns, and if you had too many ranged, you had to look for the Lady of Crowns, or whatever they are, Lady or Lord. Now it kind of just shows you, gives you like a preview. If you can see it correctly, it gives you a preview of the Lady or the Lord, depending on the card that you get. So if I swap, you're going to see kind of a difference if it changes. So now I swap to the Lord because it already understands the difference between the cards itself, and it kind of just gives you a preview instead of you have to actually like, okay, do I know the card? Do I know what it changes into? So it kind of just does that for you automatically, and you can just press the card or press the minor arcana, and everything just goes down the list pretty quickly, one step less than you have to. So moving on to Collective Unconscious, this guy it got revamped, so forth. It's the same as the original in a way, but it just kind of makes it easier. So let's talk about the first one, Diurnal Sect. If you're playing with an Astro, another Astro I should say, and a Scholar, you're probably most often going to be using this guy. Scholar is heavy on shields, so what this guy does is, as soon as you press the Collective Unconscious, if you're in your diurnal sect, the bubble is the damage reduction. Okay, you get that through. So the bubble is the damage reduction. As soon as you move, damage reduction leaves, and now you're left with the regen, which is the Wheel of Fortune, which is what you have as soon as you press it. So it has two buffs. The bubble during diurnal sect is the damage reduction. As soon as you're hit with the AoE or the tank buster, whatever it is going to be, you're protecting the tank with this. You can move it, you can move your character because the damage reduction is down. There's really no other reason for you to keep it up. You need to focus on healing. Now, the Wheel of Fortune is still up because pretty much anything that was in your bubble, as soon as you left, now the regen ticks away at them. So you can completely disregard the shielding itself while you're in diurnal sect. Now, while you're in nocturnal sect, they kind of swap. So as soon as you press that collective unconscious, the Wheel of Fortune is now the damage reduction, and the collective unconscious is the actual regen. So let me remove that. Now, no more regen. We still have that Wheel of Fortune. So anybody that stayed or was in the bubble, as soon as you pressed it while you were in your nocturnal sect, everybody gets that damage reduction for 20 seconds. So across the board with all tanks, we have our new Reprisal. Reduces damage dealt by nearby enemies by 10%, duration of 10 seconds. It went up from, I think it's 6 seconds to 10 seconds. It now basically does not require any targeting, so you can just pop this guy and pretty much every enemy around you basically does 10% less damage. This is basically implemented across all tanks, as well as the new 120-second, basically 30% damage reduction mitigation on pretty much every single tank. So for Paladin and Sentinel, for Dark Knight, I believe it's Shadow Wall. For Gunbreaker, it's going to be, if I can get out of this. So for Gunbreaker, it's going to be Nebula. For Warrior, is going to be Vengeance. Basically, it went up from 10 seconds to 15 seconds. So firstly, Monk. As soon as you hit, what was it, 50? Your Dragon Kick has severely changed. I don't even know why I didn't even notice it when I did level 50 Monk, but I'm doing it now. The Dragon Kick is basically part of the rotation that Monk does. Typically, it's going to be buff into damage, buff into damage. That's basically Monk in a nutshell. You put your buffs on, and then you go through your damage phase, and then you go back to your buffs phase, and that's basically it. So they try to kind of like mimic that in a way where it actually affects the game. So they basically just go straight into the aspect that you do your buffs, and then you go back, and then you do your damage phase. So the Dragon Kick used to be kind of like that, but now you just basically put your Dragon Kick up. Anytime you use your Dragon Kick, you afterwards are supposed to use your Snap Punch. So as soon as you see that Leaden Fist, you got to use your Snap Punch, and then Dragon Kick, then Snap Punch, Dragon Kick again, Snap Punch. That's basically it. That's the straightforward rotation. The second thing that I want to talk about, and probably the most important thing, is as soon as you hit 60, or as soon as you get your form shift, completely, why you even notice it on my skill sets, completely ignore, where is it, Tornado Kick. This is trash. Don't put this anywhere on your skill list. The reason people use Tornado Kick before, and pretty much the only reason people use Tornado Kick, was right before your form shifts, right before your Grease Lightnings expired, you would toss that Tornado Kick, typically between boss transitions. You would toss that Tornado Kick, or like if you're running through dungeons, get rid of it because all of your Grease Lightnings are about to expire anyways. But with Form Shift, that pretty much just nullifies Tornado Kick's like utility that you used to bring into combat and whatnot. So you don't need Tornado Kick. You honestly, as long as you keep pressing that Form Shift and you keep hitting that third form back to the first one, you can completely nullify the use of Tornado Kick. But yeah, if you are like me and you work mostly off of muscle memory. You can put your six-sided star right where Tornado Kick used to be, because it kind of does the same. It functions similarly to Tornado Kick, but it doesn't completely devastate your damage completely. Just go ahead and do that. That works just fine. So let's start off with Bard / Archer. I still don't like the fact that they haven't, well, I'm talking about the songs anyways. I still don't like the fact that none of these songs affects the actual original Bard / Archer that uses them. But, you know, to each their own, I suppose. That kind of sucks. Anyways, Mage's Ballad, Army's Peon, and the Wanderer's Minuet. Besides the actual repertoire effect, well, this is actually the repertoire effect. But besides this, everything else is pretty much the same. The new effect is basically for the Mage's Ballad. It increases the rest of your party members' damage by 1%, and I mean the rest, so you don't get an effect from this. The Army's Peon, it increases the rest of the party's direct hit rate by 3%. So let's go ahead and this is the Mage's Ballad, so that's plus 1% damage. The Army's Peon is this one, so this increases direct hit rate by 3%, the rest of your party members. And then the Wanderer's Minuets increases critical hit rate by 2% for the rest of your party members. So let's start off with Summoner. I'm pretty sure a lot of you guys have wanted to know how to like jump in with the Eggy Assaults, etc. Before I jump into that stuff, I just want to let you know that the Ruination effects from Tri-Disaster and the Bane is no longer existent, so they completely removed that. They increased the potency on the dots, obviously to kind of just make the balance, but Ruination is gone. RIP. That's been a long time coming, I suppose. So in terms of Eggy Assaults, it's basically the same as you tossing out your Ruin 3 or your Outburst. You're going to use these guys in conjunction with your off globals. Just think of them as basically your Ruin 3. They go off instantly, they have no cast. So obviously it's like the old, or just basically picture that as like a Bio 3. Obviously you want them out as much as possible. So we're going to toss out my Summon. This is going to be your AoE. So let's go ahead and put my dots. So downtime, we press off globals up to 2. So we're going to do my Eggy Assault 2, press off globals, Eggy Assault 1, press off globals. So that's pretty much it for AoE. It's pretty straightforward. It lasts for 9 seconds, the AoE. Just make sure you're going to use those in conjunction. Wait about 2 or 3 off globals and then press them again. Just make sure you toss your off globals in between them. For pretty much safety reasons, I would just toss 1 off global in between, just so you don't completely see the timers, how they were 1 and 4, and then it went to like 0 and 3. Just make sure that they're not too far in between. You don't want to have something like a cooldown timer of like 1 and 10, just pretty close. And it's pretty much the same thing for your Ifrit version. Just make sure you're doing off globals in between, and you should do just fine. Now when it comes to summoning out your Bahamut or your Phoenix, just make sure that these guys are at least at 1 charge or no charge, because they do quite a bit of damage over time. So that's pretty much just a heads up with those. My god, I love these Eggy skins. Aren't you cute little guy? Yeah. Come on, come on. Work those small little legs. Yeah. What are these? Like cats, right? They're like cats? Dogs? Oh, right, they're carbuncles. They look like cats, man. Hilarious. Cute, deadly, hilarious carbuncles. I mean, it's kind of extra, but if you guys want me to post like how to get the Eggy skin overs from the originals, like the Ifrit, like the original summons to like these carbuncle forms, just let me know and I'll post it in the comments. We'll move on. So try Disaster, on top of it dealing Bio and Miasma, your version. It also does 300 potency, but other than that, it's pretty much the same as the original. Ruination is gone, so I suppose it is more efficient. We just toss our Bane right into that. Oh, and really quick, before I move on, the Try Disaster, Bio, and Miasma, combined with your Bane, it used to have a 15% chance of it basically spreading the effects further on, like if they're about to expire. Now it does it automatically, so notice how it's 19 and 18, and this one's like in 9 seconds. We're going to use it on this, and so they're all, now the other two should be at 30, etc. So that's nice. It's no longer 15% chance, now it's 100% chance every single time. So first up, for Red Mage, the acceleration was changed. They basically upped the recast timer from 35 to 55, and very surprisingly, they gave it 3 charges, so you can basically stay afloat with a bit more damage. So we're going to cast our acceleration. Let's do our Verse Stone first. So we're going to do our Verse Stone into our Verse Fire, and then from Verse Fire go back to Verse Stone. So that's basically what it does. Before we used to just have 1 charge, but now we have 3. I think it's kind of overkill. Well, I got procced 50% there. So it basically guarantees 100% chance that for either the first 3 times that you use your what is this called? Your Ver Arrow and Ver Thunder, that you get a proc for your Ver Stone, Ver Fire, respectively. So that's cool. So firstly, is there going to be a live stream, or am I just making this stuff up just to gather people? Yes, there is going to be a live stream. I noticed I pretty much update stuff onto my Discord. If you guys haven't actually joined my Discord, go ahead and do so. I pretty much update stuff immediately to my Discord first before anything else. And then I post it to YouTube. Yes, there's going to be a live stream. I just have to sort through the bunch of stuff that I need to in order to actually get my screen going. I've been updating a bunch of video captures. It's basically just a big mess right now, honestly. But I'll probably get the live stream going within the next week or so. If not, pretty much sooner. I just pretty much want to get some kind of content going, because there's a very large gap between videos. Secondly, as of this video, I have reached over 2,500 concurrent subscribers. Thank you guys so much for that. Thanks to you guys for being so patient with me. I'm honestly trying to reach a goal of 10,000 subscribers. That's going to take a while, I understand. And also, I basically make everything on this video. The thumbnails, the pictures that you see, the editing, everything is done by me. So if I take a little bit long, be patient with me. It takes a bit of time to do things, and I don't know. Thank you guys so much. So the first part is basically, do I use macros of any kind? As of Shadowbringers, I don't use many macros whatsoever. The only macros that I use are basically the Dark Knight's Salted Earth macro. Basically just wherever the target is, that's where the macro goes. Other than that, just the healer macros. Let's see if I can get this. Just the healer macros for Asylum, pretty much the same as Salted Earth. Pretty much anything that I can put down on the spots. Asylum for White Mage, Sacred Soil for Scholar, and Earthly Star for Astrologian. Other than that, I used to use Focus Heal for my pets on Scholar, Embrace, but they removed that, so that's no longer a thing. I really did not like the fact that they removed that, but oh well, what are you going to do? You can only struggle on this game, and hopefully kind of, procreate, work your way around things. The second part about this question is, what do you do about Black Mage? Because I recently got a question on macroing out Ethereum manipulation on Black Mage. Honestly, Black Mage is probably my most used caster. I just don't like the fact that you have to stand there all day casting stuff. It's pretty malignant when it comes to new content. You're gonna die quickly unless you know what you're doing. There's three ways of doing this. You can either set your party members. You're going to go straight to your party list. So go ahead and click the party under your main menu options. Go ahead and click party and then click party members. You're going to have your party members list. Next to that's the friend list, blacklist of player search. Go to your party members list, and then you're going to click your party members. Whether you're in a dungeon, you're going to have up to 4 members. If you're in a raid, you're going to have up to 8. Go ahead and click your party member list, and it's typically going to be whether you're in a raid, it's going to have you're typically going to have a DPS partner. If you're a DPS, if you're a healer, you're going to have a healer partner, etc. for tanks. But go ahead and put your partner or your focus target right below yours. So on the right side, if you can see where this solo icon is, and you can see my KFC, basically my chocobo, that focus partner will be right below you. And what that means is you can either click F2, which will immediately click your focus partner, which is right below yours in the party members list, or you can also basically left click the targets. I'm using my mouse, of course, on a PC menu. I'm not entirely sure what it would be if you're playing on a platform like PlayStation. But then you go right click on the target's health. You're going to have a target's health indicator. Go ahead and right click and click that focus target. Now this is a third way. I really don't recommend doing this, but if you want to have like a separate, like a third target that you want to focus, you can have that and the focus target. So F2 and also your focus target manual click. Those are the best ways for theory manipulation. Also the best ways for multiple things, basically getting you to use your fancy skills. Like I mentioned before, is the Salted Earth from the Dark Knight, you know, the Assize from the Healer, etc. But F2 basically immediately targets my chocobo, since he is right below me in the party list. So I can immediately, let's say I'm sprinting away, and I want to immediately teleport to my chocobo. I press F2, ethereal manipulation, right back to my chocobo. So that's one way of doing it. So I can also, you know, be casting my my DPS rotation. I'm waiting for my ethereal manipulation to come back, and I can just go ahead and click my focus targets, ethereal manipulation, right back into the setting. Now, of course, it depends on how far your target is, but other than that, that's the best way I can explain it.